My upside target for Bitcoin is $90,000, but I may have found something in the charts that brings it actually closer to $100,000. We're going to jump into the charts really quick here, but first, can the total cryptocurrency market cap be worth $100 trillion? Check this clip out.
This is a $100 trillion idea. This is a $100 trillion technology. And bonds, stocks, real estate have all sort of been monetized in a world where the dollar, the euro, the yen can't work as a store of value. This is something that should be in every core portfolio, in every retirement account, in every pension, in every young investor's portfolio, in every corporate balance sheet. So this is still early days for Bitcoin, and it's great to see people like Larry Fink waking up. MicroStrategy and the Bitcoin strategy they adopted in August of 2020 has outperformed 500 out of 500 S&P 500 stocks since that time, right? It's outperformed everything on the planet, including NVIDIA. This is the biggest story in corporate finance, how a $1 billion NASDAQ business intelligence company just changed their unit of account and has become a $36 billion market cap in 4 years. MicroStrategy and Saylor are leveraging that volatility to their advantage, right? They have the lowest cost of capital out of anybody on the planet.
Okay, so my upside target for Bitcoin is right there at $89,000. That could be a top, or it could be some more sideways action right there, and then it might even move higher. Now, I do have another small upside target from there. It's not much more. It's only 94,000. But if Bitcoin does the same pump that it did here back in the beginning of the year, I have a feeling it might, because it looks like it's kind of taking off that way and working through the moving averages. So you can see here, if I go to the one-day chart, Bitcoin dipped under the 50 moving average and then quickly shot up and basically V-shape recovered October 9th, and then had a kind of a bottom, I would say, of $58,895. And then if you look back where it had that significant 90% pump over 50 days, back then it dipped to the 100 moving average, but it still sat on that 50 moving average. So you can see that 50 moving average there, and then that 30 moving average as well. And then it sat on top of it before breaking to the upside. So that's why I have that as a target as well, because it looks pretty similar. So if I take that line and I bring it over here to the end, inverted head and shoulders, it looks like right here, kind of like a bit of a shoulder here, and then it dips down, and then there's a bit of a shoulder here. So if I take it to the end of it, where it crossed now that 50 moving average, we get an upside target right there of 94,000. Now, if I take it to the bottom of there, I get a target of 87,000. So it's all in that general area anyways. I do see Bitcoin heading, but I do see it right there because it came back down to its 50 moving average, now bouncing above it. And then you can see right here that 30 moving average, it bounced off of that. So it's very, very similar to right here. So I'm going to take it off that, and then that brings us to the price of 94,000. So do see a very bullish upside target for Bitcoin. It probably, because there's this technical line right here, okay, from Bitcoin's start of the 2020 bull run, okay, there's that technical line that it would have to cross over. So after all these years, it would go up to that line. I do see that being a top. Be very, very bullish if it did break over that, which that would be that technical line. It brings us right there at 94,000. Now, these two tops in 2021, we got 62,000, and then we have here 65,000 as another top. So there's a trend line that goes off of that. I do see my first target hitting that, and I'll show you why. Because if I take that line from that bottom here Okay, we're in the 1 day chart, by the way. We'll go to the 1 week chart, so it's a little easier to see here. It's pretty much the same thing. So this is the 50 moving average right there in the purple. You can see it bouncing off of there and then bouncing off there again. Okay. Now, if we look back at the 2021 bull run, I'm not saying that it's the exact same thing, but it is having the same trend line, mind you, of it. And you can see here a similar bounce. So this is that 50 moving average right there on the week, bouncing off of that and then bouncing a little lower, but bouncing off this trend line, this downward trend line to the bottom here. And it bounced off that and then made a new all-time high there of 65,000 back in 2021. So if I take that pink line and I move it to there, to where it bounced off this this trend line right there to the all-time high. So does look like we're having that similar movements there for Bitcoin. And you can see there, moving averages don't lie. So another thing I want to point out here too, look where it bounced off of. See this 21 moving average and this 30 moving average in the gold, and then in the 21 in the blue, you can see it crossed. Okay, that was actually bullish for Bitcoin, because after it crossed, it went parabolic and came back down, but then went to another parabolic movement. Okay, and just after it bounced off of the 50 moving average, you can see that now clearly as day. If I take this red line away, you can see that the 30 moving average has crossed, with the 21 moving average crossing below it, causing the price to be bullish. Look where it bounced off of. See this 21 moving average and this 30 moving average in the gold, and then in the 21 in the blue, you can see it crossed. Okay, that was actually bullish for Bitcoin, because after it crossed, it went parabolic and came back down, but then went to another parabolic movement. Okay, and just after it bounced off of the 50 moving average, you can see that now clearly as day. If I take this red line away, you can see that the 30 moving average has crossed, with the 21 moving average crossing below it, causing the price to be bullish. Now, if I go to the 1 day chart here, it gives us a little more better view on the moving averages. You can see that the 21 moving average and the 30 moving average now crossing above the 200 moving average. That is only bullish. And now this 50 moving average wants to get above the 100 moving average. So that is bullish for an upside price. When that happens, you can see that the 21 moving average, the 30 moving average, and the 50 moving average all crossing and aligning each other after going above that 200 moving average. Then eventually this 100 moving average crossing above was very short-term bullish there, but it did make it and break it to an all-time high back in 2021. So that's just what I'm seeing happening now. I don't know if we're in a bubble. It looks like we are, but this bubble has some upside to it, and it's going to make a lot of money here. We'll call it a 40% pump still coming to the upside for that $94,000 target. If we're only to make to that $89,000 target, that would only be a 30% for the upside for Bitcoin there at $20,933. For the upside, we see Bitcoin going to 69,000, but that is some heavy resistance. That's where it tapped out back in July, and then came down to that 40, and then got rejected and came down to that $49,000 lower low, and then bounced off ever since. Okay, now it's coming back to that target of 69,000, and we'll see if it breaks over. If it doesn't break over, it'll probably just bounce here off of 66,000, because that was a nice Bit of support there. It's been bouncing off 66,000 ever since, and acting as rejection there, acting as resistance and getting rejected also there. So we know that 66,000 is a good price to get over. So it does look like it's going to make its way to 69,000. And if it makes its way to 69,000, there's more resistance there at 71,000. And then, of course, has to break over that all-time high of 73,700. Okay, if it gets rejected from all that, there's that 63,656 that it likes to sit on. That's a support. And there's also a heavy support down there at 59,000, and more heavy support, kind of last call support. If it ditches below here, 53,000, the price would be moving heavily down, 48,000, and then there's more support down there, 42,000. Don't think it's going to cross this line for a while. As you look here, when Bitcoin was in its bull run, it took 2 years to cross that line before it did back in 2022, before crossing, sitting on it for a while, and then crossing below that trend line in the blue there, purple blue. So that's what I see going on with Bitcoin now. Whether the trend line's here or over here, I do see this being the trend line. Major support down here. If it were to fall heavily over something, there is lots of support and major support there at $31,000. It probably won't even fall even close to that, but that is major support. It's been there through all of its bear markets. That's where it sits on, and it only moves, and it's only been moving higher. Yeah, that's where I see Bitcoin heading right there. $89,000, potentially $94,000. We're going to keep ahead of the price and keep looking into it day to day, and then keep making these videos. So please do hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you in the next video.